It's a show that nobody asked for. Absolutely nobody asked for.
Brandon asked for it today.
That's not true. We wanted him as a guest.
Yeah, but he still asked for it.
Well, we have Brandon Mathern, the oldest brother of Nolan and Gannon, who you would have seen on the last episode. They're a rowdy bunch. Are you as rowdy as those two?
No.
You can be.
I just saw you and Gan wrestling in the other room.
Okay, yeah, maybe.
Yes, you're sketchy with them.
Yeah.
What has your experience been like as the older brother? Do you enjoy being the older brother, or do you wish you were the youngest like Gannon?
I like being the oldest.
Why is that?
Well, they listen to me.
True.
And
So you like to be the boss?
pretty much,
Okay.
Are you a good example to them?
yes.
Okay, I would agree with that.
Would they agree with that?
Probably not.
Why?
I mean, kind of, and
Okay.
Probably in times.
Mhm.
Now, do you think your parents parented you the same as they do Gannon? Does Gannon have the same rules that you did at his age?
yes.
Really?
Mhm.
Because I would argue, like, KK has less stricter rules than I had.
But you and KK also have a much bigger age gap.
That's a good point. But I just feel like the youngest versus the oldest, the dynamic always seems weird with...
Right.
I always feel like the youngest gets away with more stuff than...
Well, okay, so yeah, if if Gannon gets in trouble,
Mhm.
and I'll get involved. Like, my dad, yeah.
So there's somehow they give responsibility to you,
Yes.
even though you maybe weren't directly involved with the problem.
Exactly.
I think there's good and bad of that. I mean, I think me having that natural responsibility for my parents, it helped me mature maybe a bit quicker.
For them to put that responsibility on you?
Yeah, in a sense.
Yeah.
Because I think I would promote that for you too.
For Brandon or for me?
No, for Brandon to own that position and do his best to be a leader to his siblings.
Yeah.
Even though they may get away with stuff and all that. But I think it's for the better.
Okay.
Are you protective to your brothers?
Yes.
However, you guys do fight often.
Yes, we do.
But I think if it's like if it's like the experience that I had, I fought a lot with my two brothers. But if someone else were to pick on them, I'd be like, nope, not happening.
That's it. Yeah.
Is that how it is for you?
Are you like
Yes.
that with both of them, or are you more like that
Both of
with
them.
one? Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, if someone was mean to Nolan at school, you'd be like, hey, meet me in the parking lot after school,
Okay.
and I'm going to
Maybe.
kick your butt.
More like I just tell him to like be quiet or shut up or something.
That's
And then
fair.
Listen.
Tell me I have a butt chin.
Oh,
Yes.
that's a funny story. What? So you basically had some beef with somebody on the bus,
Yes.
and long story short, you called him
A butt chin.
butt chin.
Yes.
Which, although it sounds mean, if it was factual,
Yeah.
it
You're
could have
just
been.
stating a fact. Maybe
Yeah.
it wasn't
Yeah.
really meant to be mean.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe not the wisest advice, but it happened.
There's a lot worse names you could have said.
You had used to go to BCLUW. Now you go to Gladwick Rhinebeck.
Yeah.
Are you happy with that transfer?
Yes.
Really? How has the change been academic-wise with school? Easier or worse? Is it easier at school now at GR, or is it more difficult?
It's the same.
Really?
Pretty easy.
That's good.
Good.
Maybe not easy, maybe you're just smart. Just comes naturally.
Oh, yeah.
What sports are you playing now?
Basketball, baseball, and football.
Football.
You tried to do track last year, but COVID
Ruined it. Yeah.
prevented you from having your first season. Are you going to do track this year?
Think so.
I would recommend it. Doesn't sound fun, but it'll be good for you.
I never did
It's
it.
worth it.
I'm not a runner.
No, I wasn't either, but it's good for you in every other sport.
For sure.
It sucks. It's not fun, but it's worth it. Out of the sports that you currently play, what's your favorite? I have an idea. I know what it is, but...
Yeah, basketball.
Okay.
For sure.
Has it always been basketball?
Yes.
Why is it basketball? I know maybe you're the best at that sport.
Yeah, that's pretty much. I'm just skilled at that. And
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's the sport you put the most time into, or else
Yeah,
have put the most
for
time
sure.
into. Like, you go to basketball camps, you've never really gone to any other sports camps.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it probably just more natural for you.
Mm-hmm. Is it too late for you to transition to be a wrestler?
Yes.
Hey, he tried it once for you, remember?
Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah, you went to one practice with
I
Wolf
did.
Creek.
Oh, one practice.
Yeah,
I think it was Wolf. No,
Okay.
no, what's it called?
Yeah, it was Wolf Creek.
Wolf Creek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I went with a friend because I was at a friend's house and he invited me to go to their practice, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, you tried it once when Mike was really trying to push you.
It wasn't bad, but
Mike pushes everybody to be a wrestler, so
Yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah, but I mean, you're really good at basketball, so I respect your decision.
You should definitely be a basketball player.
Do you have goals to play after high school and college?
I would like to play in college.
Mhm.
Or I mean, yeah.
Yeah, in college. Mm-hmm.
Do you have like a dream school you'd like to, like, do you want to go to like a D1 school, or you want to like,
I mean, yeah.
That'd be the dream.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to that, have you set goals for yourself going into high school?
Not really.
Okay, I would recommend that.
as far as academics or sports?
I think both. I think goal setting is underrated. And
What type of goals are you talking about?
anything simply as something that you maybe want to improve on.
Mm-hmm.
In general, it could be a game-to-game goal.
Mm-hmm.
It could be putting on muscle mass, working out. It could be simple as just showing up to the weight room so many times a week, as you did previously.
He still does.
Yeah, so I think you're probably naturally checking boxes off of progress. But going into 2021, I think it's a good idea if you were to mark some things down on paper of things you'd like to achieve. I think it would serve you. That's my unsolicited advice.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Okay, so if you want to play basketball after high school, let's say, I mean, the goal is to like get offered a scholarship.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you'd just be a walk-on, right? Which I mean is fine, but you have to get a scholarship right, to play.
Essentially, I mean,
Okay.
at a Division I level.
Okay, what if Iowa offers you a scholarship? Would you play? Would you be a Hawk?
Yeah, if no other offers were on the table and you're like, yeah, you gonna be a Hawkeye, or you just...
You're just going to throw your dream away.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I would.
Yes, you would.
I would be an Iowa player.
Ooh. This is monumental. I had the exact same question written down, too. It's funny that Kara thought about it, too.
Just curious.
I mean,
Doesn't mean you can't be an ISU fan. Just curious if you take that offer.
But if that was the only offer that was on the table, you'd be a fool not to
Yeah.
take advantage
What
of
if you had an offer from Iowa and an offer from another school that was not ISU, but they weren't as good as Iowa?
Like a D1? Okay, so
Yeah, like say it was like Iowa and like Michigan, but say I know nothing about college basketball. Say Michigan's not as good as Iowa. Would you choose Michigan just to avoid being a Hawk?
yes,
Really?
I would.
You would go to the school that's not as good.
Oh, not as good. Okay,
Yeah.
so
So like Michigan's worse than Iowa. Would you still go to Michigan just to not be an Iowa Hawkeye?
If your ego was...
well, maybe I would go to Michigan just to prove myself. And like, I don't really know.
I'm just
I
asking
would go to
because I want to know how much you would try to avoid being a Hawk.
Yeah,
Right now, you're pretty passionate about not being a Hawkeyes fan, is what it sounds like.
yeah.
Okay. That's common in this state, and this house
Yeah.
is divided.
Yep.
What do you think makes a good basketball player? Like, what kind of teammate is ideal to you?
Like a smart, just a non-arguing type teammate, just takes your advice, or you take their advice.
Mm-hmm.
Someone that wants to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you embody those things? Do you think you are all those things?
I think
Do
so.
you think you're a good teammate?
Mm-hmm. How important is work ethic? Hustle.
Pretty important.
Yeah. I mean, that's about the only thing that I can bring to the sport, because I was at Nolan's game today and I had no idea what was going on. But I do know, I can find a hustler, and I do know something that's like working hard on defense and hustling, up and down the court. Because I'm like, that just goes a long ways. That's what I'm always looking for. Because I never played, I was always just grew up as a wrestler, but I loved playing like pickup basketball, 3-on-3. And I was pretty good on defense. I was scrappy. Just because I was like, we played like 21 last summer. And I remember like I was just going like 120%. I was just sweating balls, and it was like me versus you three, and I'm just going bananas. Yeah. That was probably an unfair advantage, but...
Do you think there's one thing you could work on or need to improve on as a basketball player?
Not getting so frustrated.
Yeah, maybe. It's probably pretty common. I get frustrated easily.
Do you feel like that you have that tendency in basketball for you to let your emotions get the best of you at times?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good goal then.
Yeah,
maybe.
that's a goal then.
That might be something to work on.
Yeah.
At your age, so what grade are you in right now?
8.
Okay, and at this level of basketball that you play in, do you think it's important that everybody on your team gets a chance to play? How important is participation? Or is it more important to let the best player be on the court?
I think it just depends on where you're at. Like, championship or, like, just a regular season game is where it really depends on.
Mm-hmm.
Probably having a better player. Well, I don't really
There's
know.
no right or wrong answer.
No,
It's
there's
just your
not.
opinion.
I think it is. But I think you're probably right. I think if I was a coach, I think ideally I would try and get everyone involved in the game as much as possible.
Yeah.
Because you guys are still young and people mature and people advance at different levels. But at the end of the day, you're at that age where winning is important and you guys are starting to be involved in a level that is going to really affect your future.
Yeah, I was going to say, the older you get, the more it's going to be about who's showing up and probably the better player. So, I mean, even though it sucks sometimes people might not get to play, like, the older you get, that's how it's going to be. Like, if you're not performing, you're probably not going to get to play.
Do you plan to play football in high school?
I think I'll just be focusing on basketball. That's
fair.
Yeah, I'm probably just going to be focusing on basketball. I might do baseball, but football probably not. I think I'm done with that.
Yeah.
Okay. So you think most of your time in the off season of basketball will be just towards basketball?
Yeah. Mike just told me something the other day that shocked me. He said that I don't know what year it was in high school, but he thought about not going out for football.
I did, which is crazy to think about because out of all the sports, that wasn't my best sport, but I do miss football the most. For whatever reason. I feel like it's just hard.
I'm not saying this to persuade you. I just thought it was interesting that you almost didn't go out for football.
Maybe you start having that tendency at times, but like there are just seasons where I'm like, man, I don't really feel like going out for the sport. I kind of just get lazy. Or I start thinking like, oh, it's going to be more fun to not go out for sports and just hang out.
Just to have a break.
Yeah. But again, my unsolicited advice would be go out for every sport. Or at least be active in sports as much as you can throughout your high school career, because it'll never be the same after that.
But I think how Brandon answered that question is that he would rather take that time to pour into basketball. So like even in the off season, he would rather be working on basketball than to focus on football. So I mean, he'd be doing something.
That would be wise. And I think also at your level, I was faced with the harsh reality of how hard it is to be a D1 player. I think you're much more skilled than I was at your age. But like when I was like, I wanted to play D1 baseball so bad, but then it's like your junior year and you're not getting offers from D1 schools, and I'm like, this is a harsh reality that I am not that good.
Because I think when you got to college, it was like, I mean, you were probably one of the better ones on the high school team, right?
Yes.
And then when you get to college, it's like you take all of those best players from their high school team, and now they're all on the same team.
Yes.
So it's like there's a bunch of stars on one team now, and it's hard to stand out.
Yeah, and it's just crazy how much talent is in the sport in your state, you know, and how many good players just play at all levels.
Well, a lot of players come from out of state too for college, so it's not just Iowa players that you're competing with.
Yeah, and it's just the realization of how good Division I and up players really are. So I would recommend.
But I think you have the potential to be there, Brandon.
Yeah, there's no reason that shouldn't be the goal if that's truly your passion. I would almost just say, I don't even know how, I like watching you play, and I know you have a good work ethic, but I'm gone, you know, I'm in LA 90% of the year, but I would think whatever you're doing right now, probably up it like 50% of whatever your training is, and make it even more of a passion.
If that's your goal.
Yeah, I mean, just hit it even that much harder because the level of competition is insane.
Right, but also, what do you want to hang out?
Yeah, again, take everything that I'm saying for what it's worth, because I suck at basketball. And
just listen to your dad.
And I'm a washed-up high school athlete, yeah. I play Call of Duty most hours of the day. Currently unemployed. Pandemic was rough.
You're not unemployed.
Well, technically.
You're just on a hiatus.
Well, technically, I don't have an employer. I mean...
Yeah.
I just 1099s for days.
Sure.
How important is your diet? Do you watch what you eat? Are you conscious of how much water you drink?
Not really.
I would recommend, I know that you're at that age where it really shouldn't matter, but again, I feel like that's just something that sets you apart from other athletes.
Well, like, sweets, sometimes I think about it, but like water...
Probably don't get enough.
I think that's common for kids, though.
It is.
I mean, cause I didn't think about it
It
when I was
is.
his age.
But I think that's just something that's so simple that could set you apart from other athletes is if you're taking care of your diet and nutrition.
Yeah. Because, Brandon, you couldn't do a squat, and your muscles were a little tight, so maybe some hydration would...
Kara, don't be putting him on blast for exercise, okay? I mean...
That's alright, I don't work out.
Yeah, let's be real. Okay, take it easy.
Maybe your muscles are like, feed me water.
Yeah, that'll make a difference. That's another piece of advice. Switching gears here, you recently started driving.
Yeah.
Oh, buddy.
From an A to an F, how good of a driver are you?
I'd say A-.
Really?
To a B+ around there.
As scary as it sounds to me that you are now driving, I actually would probably have to say that you probably are a pretty good driver.
Why aren't you an A+ driver? What could you be better at?
Well, I used to just drive on the gravel roads, and there would usually be, like, no cars around me or any of that. So, like, sometimes I just get confused. But most of the time, I'm just zoned in and good.
You haven't killed anyone yet, right?
Nope.
It's a very serious topic, Kara. Okay.
Just saying. Wait, can you imagine... So, like, that's how I learned to drive, too, is on a gravel road. Can you imagine the people that don't live in, like, places like this, like LA, that they have to learn to drive with, like, millions of people on the road? And not just a back road in, like, the middle of nowhere?
That's why there's a lot of kids in those schools that don't even get driver's license.
That's true.
They just get driven around or just take Uber everywhere.
That's true.
Different world.
Yeah, because I have heard of a lot of kids out there that they're, like, in their 20s and they're, like, trying to get their driver's license. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, couldn't
That's
imagine.
crazy. Okay, anyway.
You have a cell phone. How many hours a day do you think you use your cell phone?
About an hour.
That's it. You're not like most.
So my screen time says anyway.
Ooh, I respect that.
What's your screen time on your PlayStation?
I'm not on it much.
You phrase that like an insult. There's nothing on PlayStation.
No, there's not. But I was just curious if... Because I really don't think...
expecting you to work.
No, I really don't think you are on your phone that much, but I'd say that you spend time on your PlayStation, though. So maybe that's...
Well, ever since that game, Fortnite, it's been just... I stopped playing it. I just haven't been on my PlayStation as much as I used to.
Okay.
That's fair.
Impressive. I'm actually impressed with that answer. I would have guessed way more.
What about the summer?
Pool, video games, and...
So they spend more time on it
sports.
during the summer than during the school year.
Yeah, that's fair. This is...
Yeah, because I don't really know when you would play it, I guess, because you go to school and have practice after school every day, and yeah, games on the weekends. Alright.
Good for you. The hour that you do...
So proud of you.
Oh my gosh. Don't touch him, Kara. Keep your hands to yourself. The app... Well, what do you use on your phone when you are using it? What do you want?
Sometimes I'm on... There is, like, a game or two that I'm on. There's also... I'm sometimes on, like, Instagram or, like, TikTok.
I get some likes from him on Insta.
True. Every once in a while. Oh, yeah, you're posting football highlights. Okay, yeah. Do you have a bedtime?
Depends if I have, like, a game or a tournament in the morning, then I would. But otherwise,
What
not.
about on a school night?
Kind of. I mean, they don't tell me the exact time, but I don't know.
Are you just kind of good about going to bed?
Yeah, I just go to bed.
It's usually not an issue at night. No, it's not fighting with
That's
you
fair.
about.
Maybe they didn't have to give him a rule because he's just kind of good at doing it on his own.
Good man. Are you allowed
Good parents.
Yeah, Angie's great. Ryan's great.
She's great.
Yeah, I would say that. I was throwing both in there. Are you allowed to date right now?
Have you asked?
No, I've not asked.
We need to get that. We need to clarify. Because it could be could be an issue if you're attracted to somebody, you want to start bringing the girlfriend over.
If he's trying to become a D1 basketball player, I don't know if dating needs to be a priority.
That's a good point. However, what if she really helps his game? What if she's a great cheerleader?
Sure, but let's just let it naturally happen and not.
Yeah, I will, but you can't fight love. Right? You saw me. How did you feel when you saw me? Nothing you could do about it. Okay. True. We had some bumps in the road. But I think dating is good. It doesn't always have to hinder you, but I think a lot of the time in high school it just is more of a priority. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of times parents wish their children had focused more on sports because it's temporary and you can always date a girl after high school and all that.
But I'd say in 8th grade I wasn't really thinking about, who am I going to start dating?
Oh, I was.
Oh,
I was straight up doing that in like 4th grade.
Yeah. I mean,
shout out to Kris Penick.
It's always like, oh, you got a crush, but I wasn't like...
Yeah, no, I was. I was heavily involved with who my significant other was.
Yeah.
And if she liked me and if she was watching me play, and I was way too consumed.
You're a different breed.
Yeah. So, you're good. Your head's in the right place.
He only needs his mama.
Ooh, his mom just chimed in. He only needs his mama.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
No.
Okay, last question, probably. Do you have plans, say, basketball doesn't pan out, or say you had a great basketball career, did what you did, but you don't make it to the pros? Do you have something that you would like to do?
Straight to the pros. How about college?
I don't know. My point is, do you have dreams for a career maybe outside of basketball? Do you have anything that you'd be currently passionate about?
Yeah.
What would that be?
Farming.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Farming simulator? I see you, Mom.
Gosh, that's a tough question for me to follow up because I know nothing about farming. I don't know. I know there's tractors involved.
I don't know much either, but I just heard you did something with hay bales. Explain.
When you bale hay?
I heard both your grandmas talking about something that... Did you see Brandon with those hay bales? Yeah. Did you do something with hay bales?
I was taking the hay bales and putting them on the trailer.
I heard he was like a pro. I don't know how hard it is to do, but I heard that.
Not hard.
But I don't know. The grandmas were making it sound hard.
What did you have to do specifically?
Are you like in a tractor or something?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're in a tractor and what?
Well, there's usually just bales laying on the ground from when they baled up the hay. Mm-hmm. And what you do is pick them up, then you bring them over to the trailer, put them on there, and then you take them to a specific location that you'd want to put them there and store them there.
Okay.
So did you have to like stack them or something when you were?
I didn't. No, he has like where you just have to slide them on instead of stacking them.
I'm gonna pretend I know what you're talking about.
Sure.
That's good.
Sure. Take that John Deere and back it up and grab them horses and throw them in the truck and start plowing. Sorry, that's terrible. Nothing but good things.
You sound like you make fun of Midwesterners, but you are a Midwesterner.
I just say that because I'm ignorant of that type of work. But
you know nothing.
I know nothing, but I know a lot of good farmers. And this is the place to do it. All right, best of luck to you with that.
Electric capital of the world.
That's right. Get her done. All right, Brandon, thank you very much for doing this. Anything else you want to say? Anything you want to leave the people with? Do you have any shout-outs? Anyone you want to show some love to? Do you have that girl that you want to ask out on a date and then is now's the time? And
No, I don't have any shout-outs.
Okay, fair enough. Kara, any shout-outs?
You don't have any like teammates you want to shout out? Like get them to watch a podcast or something?
Whoa. No, you don't want to make them suffer through...
I'll just stop talking.
Yep, that's the wise decision.
I'm going to shout out because we said that we would.
Mm-hmm.
Elise Olsen. Because on our last podcast, we shouted out her parents. And her mom, Leah, was here recently, and she said that Elise wanted them to, like, pull it up on their TV and, like, just kept watching it over and over. And they were like, she was like, Harlow was just at our house. And so anyway, I told Leah that I would shout out Elise because she's obviously a fan of hearing her family's names. So, Hi, Elise.
Hi, Elise. You are also an exceptional big sister.
Yes, she is.
Great leader. Mm-hmm. Great butterfly expert.
Yes.
I see that every summer.
Mm-hmm.
Best of luck as you go through this winter hibernation. You have a big year coming up.
She does.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thank you guys very much.
Did you have a shout out?
No. We'll leave it at that. I mentioned Kris Penick.
True.
That was my fourth grade crush.
That was a good shout out.
Yeah.
Kris and I have the same birthday.
True.
Different years.
Yep. Our parents live right up the road.
Mm-hmm. BFFs.
All right. Thank you guys very much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please like. Please feel free to subscribe. We'll try and get another episode out soon, but thank you very much, and we'll see you on the next one.
Still in Iowa. What?
Okay. I apologize.
Did I embarrass you?
Thanks again, Brandon.